attractions there.
25-4, well-equipped around 20.
As an adult, you can't hide behind a teddy bear, but you can go to Meineke. They take the scare out of brake repair with high-quality parts and service at that great Meineke price. So Meineke will take care of you, okay?
At Meineke, you're not going to pay a lot, but you'll get a lot.
I guarantee it.
Tomorrow night, Marlo Thomas is here, and FBI profiler John Douglas. I asked if Phil Donahue might be coming on with Marlo, but he won't be here tomorrow night. He wants to do the show very, very much. He just won't be here tomorrow night. Phil Donahue. You know, today people take vacations in places they formerly got to only by being drafted or shipwrecked. Back tomorrow night, same time, same station. Thanks for watching, everybody.
She's got one of the deadliest kinds of cancer. She expected to be dead by now. Instead,
So the tumor is gone? Gone.
a radical new treatment tomorrow on the CBS Evening News.
CBS Eye on People, available on cable and satellite.
I'm Roger Saudi. I'm making Nabisco shredded wheat here at Post Cereals.
That's our dad.
You know, when my girls were younger, I couldn't get them near a box of shredded wheat.
That's for sure.
So you want to know how it happened? Well, it wasn't because I've been bringing them home for the last 20 years.
Sorry, Dad.
Now that they're on their own, seems like bottled water's not the only good thing they discovered.
How come you never told us how good this stuff is? Yeah, Dad.
Now you'd think they invented shredded wheat.
This stuff is good.
Oh, how happy you have made me. Oh, how happy you have made me.
$229 a month on Ford Taurus. Now that's something to smile about. Right now at your Quality Plus Ford dealer, you can drive a Ford Taurus for only $229 a month and free scheduled maintenance. That's all your scheduled maintenance for 3 years or 36,000 miles free. Only from your Quality Plus Ford dealer.
Oh, how happy you have made me.
Monica Lewinsky's Best Friend Tells All, only on Hard Copy. You're watching KYW3, live from Independence Mall. This is Eyewitness News.
As it stimulates the body's immunity against the patient's own cancer.
A possible cancer cure in the form of a vaccine. Astounding news from Philadelphia that is attracting worldwide attention tonight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Larry Kane.
And I'm Trina Robinson. The new treatment is going to be the subject of a nationwide study. It's providing new hope for the millions of cancer patients. And it's happening at Thomas Jefferson University Hospital. Eyewitness News anchor Dawn Stenslin reports.
Luck has nothing to do with Ellen Rauscher's 3-year remission from radical melanoma. Even though surgery helped this Bucks County woman, it was an experimental vaccine developed by her doctor, David Bird. It's a custom-made cancer-fighting vaccine.
In the studies we've done so far, if we give them the vaccine made of their own tumor cells following surgery, the 5-year survival has been 58%. So that's clearly not 100% or anywhere close to 100%, but it looks to be a lot better than what one would get with surgery alone.
After a decade of research and development, Dr. Bird's vaccine is getting national attention as a powerful weapon against the most deadly form of cancer, melanoma, which is skin cancer. As for Dr. Bird, he won't be satisfied until he can save all of his patients.
So you tend to concentrate on your failures more than on your successes, and you tend to think about the patients who didn't make it, and it kind of continually haunts you.
Obviously a very caring doctor. The lab at Thomas Jefferson University Hospital that you just saw Dr. Bird working in will become a national command center of sorts within the next few months. Dr. Bird will create custom-made vaccines using the cancer cells from patients across the nation and then within hours ship them back so those patients can be vaccinated. This is a major national test, the last hurdle before hopefully FDA approval. And by the way, there are other tests being done, but this is the only one of its kind that is actually a custom-made vaccine with virtually no side effects. So good news, Trina and Larry, for all these cancer patients.
All right, Dawn, thank you so much.
It started out with a 6-month-old baby rushed to the hospital. The Delaware police say it was actually a case of murder, and the baby's father has been charged. 22-year-old Tyron Kennedy faces first-degree murder charges for allegedly beating and shaking his daughter, Tatiana. Newcastle County Police say Kennedy and the baby's mother brought the child to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. Police say they were called when doctors noticed bruises on the baby's body. The child's twin brother was unharmed.
More legal maneuvering in the case of two teenagers accused of killing their newborn at a Delaware motel. Lawyers for 19-year-old Brian Peterson today filed papers arguing against an unusual legal proposal. Prosecutors want the couple tried together, but before two juries. Amy Grossberg's defense team has asked for separate trials. Her lawyers say the baby was stillborn and that she played no part in disposing of the body.
It's back to the shock on the Penn campus tonight. An innocent bystander who was wounded in a wild and deadly shooting spree on the Penn campus is talking about it publicly for the first time tonight. John LaBombard is a University of Pennsylvania student. He was caught in the crossfire yesterday when a gunfight broke out after the Philadelphia Public League Championship basketball game at the Palestra. LaBombard was inside a woodworking building a block away when a bullet simply ripped through the wall.
It went through down here, and it came out over here. I heard this huge noise over the top of everything. At the same time, I had this enormous pain in my leg, and I had no idea what happened. And I'm so thankful that, because I feel so lucky.
Anthony Davis of North Philadelphia was killed and two others wounded in the shooting. Police say it stemmed from a long-running dispute. And even more violence in University City as a Drexel student abducted from campus and assaulted by her ex-boyfriend. Police say that 18-year-old Tia McNair was forced into her ex-boyfriend's car as she was walking to her dorm room. She was then taken to a Motel 6 in Woodland, Maryland, where the man allegedly beat her and tried to smother her with a pillow. McNair says she sprayed him with pepper mace. Dale Graham, an athlete from Widener University, was arrested as he crashed his car into a hotel room as he tried to escape.
A big stash of cocaine is off the streets tonight after a drug bust in Montgomery County. Eyewitness News was there as State Attorney General Mike Fisher laid out bundles of white powder. 7 kilos with an estimated street value of $700,000 was confiscated today. The narcotic was seized by police from a bust at the King of Prussia terminal that arrived from Pittsburgh. Police arrested Jorge Fernandez of New York City, who they say was carrying the cocaine. And a chilling cry for justice from a woman maimed in the bombing of an Alabama abortion clinic. Emily Lyons was wheeled into a press conference nearly blind, her leg mangled, and her face disfigured. Lyons, who worked at the clinic, talked about surviving the January 29th bombing that killed a security guard. Lyons says she wants the world to see how her life was ravaged by the terrorist act, and she had this message for the bomber.
Did you actually think that it was going to accomplish anything? You know, if your goal in this was to shut the clinic down or to shut me down, it didn't work.
The FBI has identified the suspect as a man named Eric Rudolph, whose truck was spotted near that clinic.
What the president calls a clear message to Saddam Hussein was approved unanimously by the UN Security Council late tonight. The 15 members of the council, including the U.S., endorsed the deal reached last week. It gives UN inspectors UN unrestricted access to all sites in Iraq. The UN Secretary General on the left said it's now up to Hussein to honor his commitment.
Tomorrow will be a critical day in the White House intern scandal investigation. The president's close friend Vernon Jordan will testify before a federal grand jury in Washington, D.C. Among other things, Jordan will be asked about his finding a lawyer and getting a job interview for Monica Lewinsky. Some legal experts think that what he has to say will determine the future of the investigation.
There is a new report out tonight that is guaranteed to spark controversy over how sexual orientation emerges in life. And it may come down to some physical differences. The study from the University of Texas, published in a national science journal, reveals that the inner ears of gay women are more like men's. Men have weaker inner ear emissions than women. Now, the discovery supports the theory that sexual orientation is predisposed before birth.
In New Jersey, a major court victory for the gay community. An appeals court has ruled that the Boy Scouts of America were wrong to dismiss assistant scoutmaster on the grounds that he was openly gay. Eyewitness News reporter Ren Scott has more.
And I'm really thrilled and delighted to have the court rule in my favor.
James Dale knows the fight is far from over, but for now he is reveling in the decision by a New Jersey appeals court that the Boy Scouts ban on homosexuals violates the state's anti-discrimination laws.
I had spent over 12 years of my life in the scouting program. It taught me to be a great person, to be a leader, to stand up for what I know is right. And I think the Boy Scout program is still a wonderful program.
So far, it has been one of the warmest and wettest winters in the east and in the northeast.
All over the place.
Yeah, really.
Well, not Tucson.
Yeah.
But you're right. A lot of places, warmest and least snowy winters ever.
That's right. We can contribute that indirectly, I guess, or directly to El Nino.
Yeah.
But now that we're heading into March, springtime just weeks away, we do have some widespread cold air making it down in the northern parts of the U.S. and some widespread snows.
Even some snow in Georgia, which you'll talk about here in just a minute. I've got the west. Of course, we've got some stormy weather here. Fortunately, it's not in California, but unfortunately, it was in Portland, Oregon, and Seattle. Now, it was a very unsettled day here in Portland. Notice the sun's out. We've got shadows around here, but there are dark, cloudy skies off in the distance out here by the Rose Garden. There's a shadow off of these two folks, but rain and hail developed as the day wore on. And I'll tell you, some folks could be dodging snowflakes here in the morning. Boy, sun is out. That'd be a good day for a rainbow, wouldn't it, huh? Rain showers off to the east, the sun hitting those rain drops. That'd be something. Well, it could happen here on Tuesday. The cold front is through. That's into Idaho right now. Still have some rain hanging around Spokane, the Inland Empire here in eastern Washington. Rain has moved out of Oregon. But now, look what's moving in. The cold front now a couple of hundred miles inland, but now here are these little polka dot looking clouds. These are cumuliform clouds, the puffy kind of clouds that form when the atmosphere is unstable, when it's warmer underneath and colder aloft. Warm air wants to rise into that cold air mass, into the cold aloft, and it bubbles up. And thunderstorms, those are the kind of thunderstorms, showers that produce thunderstorms and hail and tornadoes and the whole schmear. Well, we don't expect that kind of severe weather here tonight, but once the sun comes up, maybe a few breaks in the clouds here in the morning, the sun comes up, and then bang, clouds all over the place, dark, hail, maybe some thunder and lightning, possibility of, well, with this spin in here, possibility of perhaps some cold air funnels. We'll have to see about that. Snow advisory all the way into the coastal ranges here, some of the lower mountains here in northern and central Oregon. And a snow advisory remains in effect for the Cascades of Washington and Oregon. Off to the south, we're doing just fine. Eventually, snow gets into the Uintas and the Wasatch of Utah. But here in Arizona and in California, at least for the time being, all is quiet. Then we head east. We find a cold front way offshore. This is where the deep moisture is. But still back here, another one of those upper lows. Same thing's happening at a very tiny scale here. The cold front in Idaho, but the upper low is moving into Oregon and Washington. Well, what's going on under this upper low? Scott?
Well, Dave, upper lows generally mean a pool of cold air, and clouds rotate counterclockwise around them. And typically this time of year we see snows. We haven't really seen much of that this winter. Chicago has been no exception, but this morning they did see some snows in Chicago. This is Michigan Avenue. The snows started this morning for rush hour. They continued into the early afternoon, like post lunchtime. No big accumulations. Their high today was 37, their low temperature 29 degrees. And we can see quite nicely that big low rotating on our water vapor image. You can see the counterclockwise swirl to the moisture, actually. That's what the water vapor imagery shows us. The white colors indicate where we have moisture in the atmosphere, and then the darker colors indicate where the atmosphere is relatively dry, of course, above the surface. So we do see this broad area of counterclockwise circulation across the eastern half of the nation. Temperature is not all that cold for this time of year, generally in the 30s and 40s, but low temperatures, think about 20 degrees cooler than these high temperatures that we saw, and that makes for some below freezing temperatures across the upstate of South Carolina and northeastern Texas, where we actually have freeze advisories posted into the morning. And what's going to happen with the cold air, Dave?
Well, Scott, the cold air is going to hang around, but the good news is the sun comes up and it's going to warm you up, at least for a time. High pressure sitting right over Houston, Texas, but it's a northwesterly wind, so that'll keep the air flowing in over our snowpack, if you will. Not much of a snowpack in here, but it'll still be a cool in behind low pressure that'll be moving out to sea. Keep the umbrella handy, however, in Trenton, New Jersey and New York City, perhaps Boston, Hartford, and Providence, too, with some light snow showers here, except up in the mountains of the southern Appalachians. And then our next storm comes in through Utah tonight. It emerges to the east of the Rocky Mountains here tomorrow. That'll be the storm to deal with, at least for the next couple of days. Scott, and there's your temperatures, too.
So it's taken a while for those snows to leave the Northeast, but eventually they will.
Absolutely. The rain, too. Well, let's see what the rest of the week looks like for you right here.